NornQueenAlexis, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this army update video. Today we will be going through my Primaris Space Marines, the 100 Marines of the 4th company of my Sons of Garrow custom chapter. And if you guys want to know what chapter tactics we use, it is typically Ultramarines or Imperial Fist, depending on how many bolters I bring. But throughout this army, I have everything painted. That's one thing. Everything is based is another thing. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I do want to give you some quick lore about the Sons of Garrow. So way back in the day of the Horus Heresy, after the Battle of Istvan, and as the Istvan escaped all the way to Terra with Nathaniel Garrow trying to give the message to the Emperor of Mankind about the treachery of Horus, and Magnus turning against them. But there was a very few Marines forgotten about in that whole endeavor. These Marines are where I put the basis of my chapter. So what happened at Nathaniel Garrow is him and a bunch of his men were taken prisoner by the Custodians and by the Imperial Fists. The Imperial Fists threatened them, and Nathaniel Garrow explained to them everything that was going on, and he's all like, well, I'm grumpy. Because that's pretty much Dorn's entire character. He's a grumpy old man. He's essentially Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. It's really funny. But anyway, those survivors, after the heresy, as everything was being scoured, they still bore the Death Guard color scheme and everything, which you guys may know is this, let's just pull this, is this silver and green, not silver, this tan and green or white and green. And their armor is based on unpainted ceramite from the Soul Sector. That ceramite is more of a tannish white, as well as all the disgusting stuff that grew on them. But my chapter were the Loyalists, the few hundred that survived and escaped, and who did not want to turn against the Emperor, did not want to turn against the Imperium, and instead fled because they were going to be hunted as Death Guard. So, with some assistance, they managed to find their way to Saturn's moon Titan, and there they fought for thousands of years trying to protect the now growing Grey Knights. There we go. Sorry, my brain just stopped working halfway through that sentence. While the Grey Knights were being created, this was the creation of the Grey Knights. It was way back in the age of the Horus Heresy. But they activated the Guller Field and went into the warp for thousands of years, emerging in M36. But while that was all happening, they needed something to protect them. Thus, the Dusk Raiders, because they long since abandoned the name of their original chapter, of their Legion, and went back to their original name because some of these were Terran-born Marines. But at this point, there was only a very few of them left. Once the Grey Knights emerged, they decided to go on a penitence crusade to make up for what has happened. Now, you may be interested in crusade fleets. Some chapters include the Black Templar, which are currently on an ongoing campaign and a crusade throughout the galaxy. Every time a crusade hits 1,000 Marines, it has to split, and so on and so forth. It is kind of both with the Codex Astartes and without the Codex Astartes at the same time. It's more of a divergence from it rather than outright anarchy from it. But the Sons of Garrow, which are the Dusk Raiders at the time, they truly looked up to Garrow and knew the stories of Garrow saving the living saint. They have never seen Garrow since the day that they left him. They have since left the moon of Titan prior to the sword of Nathaniel Garrow coming to Titan. Let's just get past that. But anyway, they have left Titan once it emerged in M36 during the Age of Strife, knowing full well that they still couldn't return to the Imperium proper at this point, though they did work in secret with some organizations of the Inquisition, most notably the Ordo Malleus. The Sons of Garrow recruiting is typically from varying worlds, taking heroes of legend similar to that of what Nathaniel Garrow did when picking out his Knights Errant, or what Malcador told him to do. But anyway, the Sons of Garrow, which they renamed themselves at this point, started picking out select heroes that they found around the galaxy and turning them into Astartes. Now these were half Astartes or second-born Astartes. So technically they're not real Astartes, and they initially made their chapter out of this. Think of Loken or Luther for references to this. Now, while they were doing this piece of hair stuck and it's really annoying, but while they were doing this, the chapter couldn't get back up its numbers because they kept trying to engage Chaos forces, and unfortunately, without being able to call for aid because they still wear the heraldry of the Death Guard, they unfortunately started dying off. Then M41 happened. Guilliman has awoken. The galaxy was torn asunder. There we go, I can big brain. The Sons of Garrow were pretty much no more, but Guilliman, in his infinite wisdom, sent a Historitor to the Provoskan sector where currently the Sons of Garrow were. They were fighting their last desperate fight as they were going to be exterminated at this point. The Sons of Garrow fought valiantly, and a Historitor, who has the same ranking as an Inquisitor, which is interesting, not the authority of an Inquisitor, but the same ranking as one. So they can actually see heretical things, write about it, and return it to Guilliman. They saw the Sons of Garrow, and they saw the Inquisitor that the Sons of Garrow were working with at the time, which is Inquisitor Rosalina Lockwood. Rosalina Lockwood being a character that is an OC for me for my Inquisitor character, and the most common thing you'll see on this channel. So, with that being said, and I know I'm going deep into the lore of my chapter, the Historitor reported back and Guilliman sent them Primaris Marines. But they wanted to do what the original Dusk Raiders did and make their armor from the ceramite of where they were, but not colored. Similar to that of what the Grey Knights did, where they have the silver armor because they completely burn it down to just the silver, so it's absolutely pure. But unfortunately, the Provoskan sector doesn't have pure minerals, so the armor was deemed black. This is because of a chemical process within the ceramite, forging the ceramite to make their armor. So they chose a red color scheme for their armor and took on the name the Sons of Garrow officially. This time, now they are recognized within the Imperium as an actual chapter of Astartes. Most of it is what is remaining of most of the survivors of the original Sons of Garrow. They still wear the honored heraldry of their first and foremost chapter, which is the tan and green. But as they started dying off, they've been replaced with the Primaris Space Marines you see behind me. This is the 4th Company, and now we get into some 4th Company lore. Aren't you excited about this? I know you are. You're probably not paying attention to the video anymore. But anyway, I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm on a rant. So, back during the War of Extermination with the Death Guard versus the Sisters of Battle, this was a battle where Rosalina, the Inquisitor, tracked down the Death Guard and with her 10,000 Sisters of Battle descended upon a planet. This planet was known as Firekoth. Firekoth was a world that they were not ready for, and one that they were not fully prepared for and didn't get enough insight to see all the enemies that were there. Originally, they thought just the Death Guard was there, and this was the Boundless Decay, I believe was the name of the Chaos Warband. And then there was the Scarlet Scorpions, a Cornate Warband. Rosalina herself dispatched the Lord of the Scarlet Scorpions by shooting him in the head with an Inferno pistol. We actually played that out on the channel, by the way. That was a super cool campaign game that we did a long time ago, and it was amazing because literally the Chaos Terminator Lord came running up and I shot the Inferno pistol at him and killed him. And I was super excited. But, in this battle, a character by the name of Narasani, a Repentia, was fighting to push into the Chaos Stronghold. Unfortunately, all of her Repentia did what Repentia do and gave their lives valiantly as martyrs. But Narasani was not ready to give up yet. The Emperor deemed her worthy. And so she kept fighting, kept pushing, and eventually broke through the barricades and got into the Chaos Lord's sanctum and eventually did battle with him. Now, this Chaos Lord was unfortunately a little bit too much for poor Narsani. Her arm got torn from its socket, but she did manage to get the Eviscerator through its heart. In the ensuing gore that splatted onto her, it turned out to be a type of bioactive acid that started ripping through her body, rotting it almost instantly, and pretty much just killing her as she was killing him. She did get both hearts, and as she fell, her other arm went with it as it was rotting off of her body. Her legs sprayed with this mist of blood and gore, was eventually torn off of her, but Narsani would refuse to die. So the Sons of Garrow, who specialize in frontline resupply and reinforcement, came down to the planet and started aiding the Sisters of Battle in this battle. Sisters of Battle in this battle? In this war campaign. With the Sons of Garrow, the tide was quickly turned on the Death Guard. With their leader dead now, the Sons of Garrow did start reinforcing certain parts, bringing weapons, war gear, and their own tactical advantages to the battlefield, and subsequently annihilating the Death Guard that were there. Now, keep in mind, this is just a Death Guard warband, not the Death Guard in its eternity. But with that said, Captain Novak of the 5th Company found this woman, and this woman was laying on the ground, but she refused to die. She refused to give up. Her chainsword was still revving, her Eviscerator, giant chainsword, was still revving, and she was still trying to attack. Though her body was in shock at this point, and she could barely keep consciousness, the Captain Novak the Young looked upon this character, looked upon Narsani, and asked her a simple question. If you could, would you stand and fight for the Emperor? Narsani replied with absolutely. As long as there is breath within my lungs, I will stand and fight for the Emperor. And an apothecary looked down at the woman. Captain Novak gave the order, and she was saved. Eventually brought into the Sons of Garrow 4th Company as a scout. Now, quick little tidbit. She is not a female Space Marine in any way, shape, or form. She has none of the augmentations at all. So don't you think that I'm going, oh, Alexis made a female Space Marine, a cringe, blah, blah, blah. No, in fact, Tyranian Pin, the Master of the Forge, wanted to test his merit at his bionic capabilities and built her a new body, severing her what was left of her arm, most of her face that was deemed useless or biodegraded at this point, all of her internal organs down from here. Her breasts are gone. There's barely anything that actually makes her a woman except for her head, her brain, her spinal cord, and just the fact that she identifies as a woman. She was rebuilt as a cyborg and put into the Scout Company. While in service in the Scout Company against a war with a high fleet known as Kraken Tooth, this is a branch of Kraken that is a ghost ship that is still being hunted down. She managed to rescue what was remained of the captain before his gene seed fell to the Genestealer cult, as well as the Tyranid invasion. She carried him all the way back to a shuttle. They took off, and Narsani did about 150 years worth of service. Captain Novak, the chapter master, as well as 2 other captains, agreed that Narsani should take his place. Narsani is now the proud captain of my 4th Company of Space Marines. We're almost there at looking at miniatures, I promise. But this army in particular is led by a chief chaplain who doesn't have a name, and a lot of these miniatures don't have names yet. So if you want to be a character in the Sons of Garrow and get your own awesome lore as the channel progresses and as we can finally get battle reports back, you can you can just type a comment in the comment section down below over here. And down there, you can tell me all about your character who might actually be in this army. Just tell me which one it is and that you want to take them. So you guys can actually be a part of the Sons of Garrow. And a lot of these characters, like Tyranian Pin, comes from a patron who just so happened to be a really good friend of mine. And, well, first a patron, then a community member, then a really close friend of mine who I absolutely trust and love, named, well, I'm not going to give you his actual name, but there's a real reason that his name is Tyranids. It's very close to his actual name. And Pin is because it's Kingpin, who is a member of my Discord and an awesome person. He is the master of the Forge. Narasani and that entire backstory was made by a fan. We also have things that I forget. So that is the lore to my channel, to my chapter. Their main aesthetic is rapid resupply. So they do a lot of drop pods, drop ships filled with gear to resupply guardsmen, resupply Sisters of Battle, resupply Space Marines even. They have thousands upon millions of chapter serfs dedicated strictly to making more and more gear, so that way they have extras to give out onto the battlefields so that the enemies can be driven back by the forces that are there. Typically, they love finding wars where the guard are probably going to lose, the sisters are probably going to lose, and then just resupplying them. And because they're Space Marines, they can do shock assaults very quickly and hit vulnerable targets, commanders, and all sorts of other vital strategic objectives. They can hit those really quickly and allow the Imperial armies to win. So with that said, let's take a look at this chapter. And one more thing I need to mention, its homeworld is currently Provoska, and they recruit from the Emperor's Bastards, a local gang. So let's take a look at this army. already seen the army in its entirety, and I believe this is over 100 Marines. Let's see. 10, 20, 30, 40, 49, plus 10 is 59, 64, 64, these are all part of the first company, so 64 plus 9 is 73, 76, 79, 79, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, and, we're at 96. Oh yeah, and there's also these 5 who I just found. There is actual other units here, so it is a full 100, I promise you. It's actually a little bit over 100 with them. They're not based, they're not painted, they don't count. I literally just got them in a trade. But yeah, I don't know if champions, because we have a lot of champions, and that's where the other 5, well, depending what I make them for, that's where the other ones come in, but I'm not sure if they're part of first company. I think they are. So let's go over what we have for this army. We have Captain Narastani of the 4th company. This is her new version, which is the captain from the newest box that just came out, which is the Indominus, I think. But yeah. So checkered pattern, the red and black. And you'll notice a lot of my HQs and characters all have mohawks. It's a way of just telling them, telling who they are. Standing next to her is Master of the Forge, once I can get him, Tyranian Pin. Tyranian Pin here has the old servo harness of the older Tech Marine. And, you know, power axe and this. But I did convert this to have this gun on here instead of the flamethrower. So a little bit of conversion. I kept the plasma cutter on there because, whatever, plasma cutter. So, but let's get to the actual army. She has 2 lieutenants with her, which is this guy, which again is from the Indominus box, once my camera decides to focus. And this guy, once again, when my camera decides to focus. I actually really like putting banners on the backpacks. It's silly, it doesn't make any sense, but it's also really, really, really cool. There's also 2 more lieutenants in here. They're either lieutenants or chapter champions. I don't know where they count as. So I kind of just throw them into as both. So this is part of 4th company right here. He is not part of 4th company. He is actually part of the chaplains, but we do have him. Once my camera again decides to focus on him. And you can even see like all the lightning detail on him. Super happy with how he came out. Okay, that is a Judicator. Then we have the ton of chaplains. I really like chaplains. I have 5 chaplains right here. Dreadnought, the Indominus box one, the normal one that first came out, the Reaper looking one, the special edition chaplain that just came out, that's Terminator armor, the other special edition chaplain that is smaller. Then we have the chaplain on bike who desperately needs a name. And let's face it, this dude 100% looks amazing. Just 100%. I love this model. So let's go over this chapter's or this company's organization. So we got the HQs over here. She is randomly, well, not randomly, it's whoever is in her barge with her is the HQ that goes along with her. So I have a plethora to choose from, including a couple of ancients to bring along with them, but those are all first company. The Blade Guard veterans are all first company. Blade Guard veterans here, all first company. These are all part of the chaplains, the not Codicia. Codicia is the librarians, which you'll notice there is no librarians. I don't know what it is. I don't have librarians. I didn't even realize I didn't, and I don't have an apothecary. I need an apothecary for this army. But anyway, those two. Then we have the 4 troop choices. Because this is a rapid insertion force, it only has 4 troops, and the rest are fast because it's rapid assault. So they want to get in as quickly as possible. So in lieu of doing a bunch of tactical marines, or in this case intercessors, they elect to only bring 4 for resupply, and the rest are just fast attacks and devastators, or what their battlefield role is now. So we have 4 troops, all at 10 man. We have assault, shooty. Typically I run these ones with stalker bolters because I view them as the best. These guys all with chain swords, thunderhammers on the sergeants, which I still need to cut their arm off and put a thunderhammer there. I only have 1 repulsor. I want to get a second one and a repulsor executioner. I know they're not that good, and I want to get a gladiator, 2 gladiators as well, to fill out some of the armor in this army. We have 9 outrider bikes, and again, you can see all of these sergeants themselves. We have double eradicators. I do have more eradicators coming, and another squad of Blade Guard veteran coming. We have 8. I know this is a weird number, but I lost one of them. So we have 5 with the Flamestorm gauntlets and 3 with the Boltstorm gauntlets. The Boltstorm is better technically. We have 9 Inceptors in this army. We have 3 Gully Suit equipped Eliminators, 15 Hellblasters, and what else? Oh yeah, we have the Dreadnought over here. The Back to School Dreadnought, as he's been nicknamed. Or the Angry Refrigerator. And that is the Sons of Garrow. I really like this army. It plays pretty fun, and Primaris Marines are fairly balanced. Like if I really wanted to break the game just a little bit, I would take 9 of these in one game. But even still, I don't think they're broken. I do want to build the 5th company, which is going to be, again, Primaris Space Marines. And it's going to be 40 heavy intercessors, 20 assault intercessors for the 60. And then it's going to be, what is it? Wow, I can't brain right now. I think I'm going to get some more of these, bump them up to 30. What is the stuff I'm missing for this army? It's all the new units, like the ATV. I want 3 of them for this army. I want, wow, I cannot think at all. So I do apologize. There's stuff in this army that I'm missing, and I just can't think of what it is. But yeah, I hope you do like the look of my army. I worked really hard on these bases and the miniatures themselves. Some of them look good, some of them look bad, and I'm aware of that. I'm trying my best. So if you like this army, please tell me in the comment section down below. If you hate this army, well, you're a jerk. And I'm not too fond of you. And yes, I do sleep with a dinosaur blanket. You're a child. It was a Christmas gift. So anyway, guys, comment in the comment section down below. If you're super awesome and want to get yourself a character in this army itself, comment in the comment section down below. Tell me what you want to be. We have tons and tons and tons of characters. We have this dude. We have this guy. We have all of the lieutenants. We have the Blade Guard veterans you can name yourself as, the chapter ancients, any of the chaplains. And if they're named, I will bring them in battle reports in the future. I probably would bring them anyway, but this just gives me more incentive to bring them. So yeah, with that all said, comment down below. Tell me what you think. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.